Good morning, America. This is the Cats Roundtable, and this is John Catsimatidis, your host, and we're on every Sunday morning to let you know what's going on in America. The Hillary campaign, the Donald Trump campaign, who's winning, who's losing. And this morning, we've asked Roger Stone to come on to give us his perspective of what the heck is going on. Good morning, Roger Stone. How are you this morning?
Delighted to be back with you, John.
Tell us, you're one of the smartest strategists I know. What's going on?
Well, this presidential election is unlike any other that I've been involved in, and I go all the way back to Nixon, Reagan, Dole, and the Bushes, of course. But unlike previous presidential elections where it was the Republicans versus the Democrats, this election is really the insiders versus the outsider, the political establishment of both parties that have kind of gotten us to where we are today versus Donald Trump, a non-politician, not beholden to any special interest or any faction, a true outsider who therefore may be able to reform our government. This is going to be a very, very tight, close, competitive election right to the bitter end. Anybody tries to tell you, John, this is over and X has won, they're wrong.
Donald, I understand, went to visit the Mexican president this week, and Hillary refused to meet him. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Nixonian. If Nixon can go to China, Trump can go to Mexico. It shows who has the temperament and the style and the flexibility to be president. Trump, I think, handled himself extremely well. He also understands a bit about politics. I'm not sure you were going to get breakthrough agreements in the first sit-down, but both men proved that they could be civil, they could be productive, and they could work together to try to find solutions. This was a tour de force for Trump because he looks a lot more presidential than Hillary, who looks sweatier and sweatier as she tries to answer more and more questions about the Clinton Foundation.
That is getting to be a problem. And do you see? Nothing happened with all those emails, and it seems like you got Teflon for sure in the Clinton camp. I mean, can anything change, or
Yeah,
we'll just have to go
John,
to the election?
I would look at it historically. When the first couple Watergate tapes came out, people said, "Well, this is nothing. This guy Nixon must have Teflon." It took a year of constant drumbeat and more information. We now know pretty definitively that Julian Assange at WikiLeaks has all of the Clinton emails. All those emails that Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills, the henchwomen for Hillary, thought they deleted, well, they exist. And I think they're very embarrassing, and I think in many cases they probably connect the dots pertaining to corruption at the Clinton Foundation. Now, add on top of that, not only that drumbeat of information coming out between now and the election, but at least 3 debates, most likely, in which, as you know, John, because you've probably known him longer than I have, the only thing predictable about Donald Trump is he's entirely unpredictable. He might do anything. We have no idea what he might do in debate. And therefore, you're going to have a massive audience tuning in to see what the Trumpster is up to.
Besides the 3 debates, I believe that both of them are going to be in front of the Al Smith dinner in front of the Cardinal, but I guess in front of the Cardinal, they'll both be a little bit more civilized.
Well, and I can't wait to see Hillary in white tie and tails.
What else can you tell the American people on a Sunday morning? We're all having that hot cup of coffee, and we're saying, "Holy cow, what's going to happen in America?" You know, I was traveling all over the Europe on last week, and I've met a lot of important people. And you know what they all have to say? What's going to happen with the next president? And they're all wondering.
Well, and they
We're
should be. They should be, John, because this is probably the closest, most competitive election that we've had since 1960. These candidates are pretty evenly matched in terms of both of them being exceedingly polarizing, both having real intensity and loyalty among their supporters. This is particularly true of Trump supporters. They're having both a large body of voters who will not vote for them, somewhere around 40%, on either side. And a few more Democrats in the country, but Trump has an appeal to Democrats that no Republican in my recent memory has had. So I understand why people are watching this horse race. It's a mutter, as they say, and it's going to be tight right to the very end. Two significant developments this past week. I predicted this several months ago, but I was early. I said by October 1st, Hillary Clinton's unfavorable rating will be higher than Donald Trump's. Well, I was premature by about 4 weeks. You have a poll out this week that shows her pulling ahead of Trump in terms of unfavorability. And that's quite a statement in view of the fact that the mainstream media has a tendency to amplify his missteps, but to bury hers. But it's a culmination, I think, of questions about her health, questions about the Clinton Foundation, and questions about Ukraine, and the $10 million contribution from Victor Pinchuk that probably bought a coup in that country. All of these things are cumulative, and they're clearly beginning to have their toll.
Well, Roger, I got to tell you, I saw her a couple of weeks ago at an event, and she looked perfectly healthy. So I don't know where all that stuff is coming from. She did look good. She was very sharp on her feet, and well, maybe is she having good days and bad days? Because the day I saw her, she was pretty good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because, of course, I wish her well, and I hope she's fine. I've seen enough video and enough photographs, and I've heard enough first-person discussions of people who've been with her. It appears to me that she is probably having good days and bad days. But just the fact that she campaigns for one day, and in that one day she does one stop, one event, and then she takes 4 days off, that indicates to me that she may not have the stamina or the mental clarity or the balance to be president. You can't run for president and hide. 1968, we did a pretty good job of meting out Nixon's access to the media on a strategic basis, but that was based on the fact that he'd been overexposed, that he had been a fixture in American politics at that point for 40 years. This is something different. They are clearly hiding her, and the most significant piece of evidence is no press conference for over 250 days. Can she not answer the questions because she can't stand up, or she can't answer the questions because she doesn't have answers, or is there no problem at all, in which case she ought to have a press conference? I find it very odd, to say the least.
What else would you like to tell the American public before we sign off this morning?
Well, there's two questions I think they've got to decide before this election. One is Hillary honest and trustworthy? I think those are the key measures. Right now, by overwhelming measures, they don't think so. And then secondarily, does Donald Trump have the stability and the knowledge and the temperament to be president? She's got to convince voters that she's honest and trustworthy. Trump has to convince voters that he has the stature and the balance and the temperament to be president, and they both got around 60 days to do it.
Well, Roger Stone, thank you for being with us this Sunday morning, and we hope to catch up with you again real soon.
John Katz, I'm a great fan of the Katz Roundtable, and I appreciate your having me.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
Many
Take
thanks.
care. This is the Katz Roundtable. We'll be right back.